Well, time to turn now to the day's business news. Stephen Carl joins us for that. Stephen, going to start here in France, in fact, moving towards a new high-speed mobile network, the 5G.
That's right. The French government is auctioning off 11 blocks of frequencies for 5G today, which could see the next generation network up and running in some French cities by the end of the year. The four major mobile operators in France are vying for this space for the new technology in this auction, which will last about 10 days. It's expected to raise more than 2 billion euros for the French state. China's Huawei is the global leader in 5G technology, but France is effectively phasing out the use of its equipment by 2028. Meanwhile, the debate's raging over the company building a new factory in the east of the country, as Catherine Viette now reports.
This is Huawei's biggest factory in China, and now it's hoping to build one like it in Strasbourg. Since the start of the year, the Chinese tech giant has been holding talks with officials to find the right space to produce 5G antennas.
C'est une usine qui va faire grosso modo 60 000 m². C'est le souhait en tout cas des promoteurs, qui devrait permettre d'employer 300 personnes et qui va fabriquer des composants électroniques permettant de développer des produits Huawei en Europe.
But not everyone is happy about the proposal. The city's new green mayor is worried about its environmental impact, while the president of the wider urban area says there are security concerns to consider.
La technologie questionne et c'est important que le débat ait lieu. Elle a un potentiel d'emploi. Je ne peux que répéter, c'est des éléments qui sont dans la balance et c'est bien en échangeant en direct avec l'entreprise que nous pourrons prendre la meilleure décision, j'en suis sûre.
While the French government has not prohibited telecom companies from using Huawei's technology, it has already told those firms they won't be able to renew licenses for the gear once they expire. Such a move would effectively see the Chinese firm phased out of mobile networks by 2028.
Nous n'interdisons pas à Huawei d'investir sur la 5G. Nous protégeons nos intérêts de sécurité nationale.
If Huawei moves ahead with the Strasbourg plant, it could invest around 200 million euros and create 500 jobs in the long term.
The French luxury group LVMH has lashed out at the jeweller Tiffany's as part of a legal bid to walk away from a takeover of the company. LVMH says that Tiffany's performance has been catastrophic since the start of the pandemic and that its prospects for the future are dismal. This according to court documents filed in the legal battle. According to the Financial Times, they claim Tiffany's decisions since March mean it's a different business than the one the French giant originally agreed to buy. The jeweller insists that it's acted in the best interests of its shareholders.
Well, speaking of French giants, to a different one now. Stephen, unions are meeting management at the car maker Renault today, talking about job cuts.
Now, the company announced last May that it was planning to cut around 15,000 jobs worldwide, more than 4,000 of those in France. The goal is to save more than 2 billion euros in costs after the car maker saw massive losses earlier this year. The meeting with unions is part of the process. They're expected to vote against the plan, but they don't have a veto over it. Renault has promised there'll be no compulsory redundancies as part of the cost-cutting measures.
Meanwhile, in India, lack of policymakers is causing trouble at the central bank.
The Reserve Bank of India has delayed its latest monetary policy meeting because the government is yet to fill 3 empty seats on its executive committee. The delay leaves the bank in limbo at a time when the Indian economy is facing a record recession linked to the coronavirus pandemic. The bank says the meeting has been rescheduled, but without providing a new date. Let's take a look at what's happening on the markets next for you. European shares starting the day in the red. Shares in LVMH down around 0.33% in Paris as that legal action gets underway in the Delaware courts over Tiffany's. That's the picture on the European markets. London, Paris and Frankfurt all firmly in negative territory. On the Asian markets earlier, it was a bit more of a mixed picture. We had some small gains on the Nikkei and in Shanghai, but falls on the Hang Seng in Hong Kong. Now those gains that we saw on Wall Street, particularly in technology shares, not helping to boost Asian shares in trading today.
Finally from you, Stephen, a cafe in St. Petersburg is currently offering diners a little extra with their meals.
It's all you can eat at Soup Station, including the cups and cutlery. The cafe is now baking its tableware in the oven. They're just made out of wheat, sunflower oil, salt and water. Sometimes they even add turmeric to the dough for flavour. It's an environmental push for the cafe's owner as it cuts down on the use of disposable, but even the soup spoons are made out of dough. They're baked in a way that they do hold liquid. I mean, I've never met a bread I don't like, so I think I'd love this idea, frankly, if it doesn't melt in your hands.
I have to say it's appealing to me too. I'll definitely be willing to give it a go. Stephen Carroll, with all the business news, thanks a lot for that.